I am beyond thrilled to introduce him. He is a poet, an artist, designer, and the father of our amazing kid. And he has always been and will always be a very dear friend of mine. Please give a warm welcome to Brad Bolton.
Hey everybody. It's so good to be here on the stage tonight. I feel like my BedPost confessions experience is now complete. After helping get this whole thing started back when Sadie and I were married and hosting the 1-year anniversary show, it's a thrill to be here as a performer. Thank you. Alright, so tonight I am here to tell the tale of how fracturing my penis severely enough that it required surgery turned out to be a gift of great girth. And maybe we'll just say it was sizable, okay? So, strange things happen when you tell people that you broke your dick. Usually the first response is, you can do that? That's real? Yeah, that is. Then there's laughing, followed by some level of remorse for having just laughed at your broken cock. And at least a feigned attempt through the end of their chuckle to ask if you're okay. Ex-girlfriends think it's particularly hilarious and some sort of karmic retribution. Right? But just about everybody is so insanely curious that they want to see your dick, at least in pics, if not in person. Yeah, so, I won't be showing any pics tonight, but, you know, feel free to laugh like you're one of my ex-girlfriends. No, but you can probably find them on a couple of phones around here. So, before we get to all the juicy uncomfortableness, though, I thought I'd start by giving you all a little backstory. I know to borrow from Monty Python that you'd like to go straight for the clitoris on this story, but trust me, it's better this way. Now, for me, this story goes back as far as the insecurities of my 20s. Probably farther, but if we go all the way back, then I'm gonna have to fork out $100 to each of you for this session, and I've already got a therapist. So now, as y'all know, Sadie and I used to be married, and for about a third of that time, we had an open marriage. And we had a hell of a run. We made one super awesome offspring. Yeah. And although things got real rocky for a while, we've come a long, long way. And yeah, I'm always happy to see her now, and we talk, and we co-parent, and we hug, and we still get to love each other, just from a different vantage point. Now, aside from the warm fuzzies of that last part, though, it's important I give you a little more background, because when you fracture your penis, you have you know, some serious time to reflect on just how you ended up with your dick in a sling and how you'd like to go about things, you know, once you're cleared for active duty again. You know, a lot of those moments are swirling cacophonies fueled by painkillers, but you get to know which ones are just super fun, occasionally hallucinatory joy rides. And which actually leads somewhat to some real understanding. So, anyway, when Sadie and I opened up our marriage, I felt like it was a chance to relive my 20s in a way, and many good times were had in pursuit of making up for those past insecurities. But what it also opened up for me was a bunch of ego-driven tomfoolery, which was far from being in the best interest of me or anyone else involved. I lied to Sadie, the girls I dated with, and anyone else I felt like there was a possibility of being in trouble with. And even as cool as I acted and tried to be, part of me just never was completely okay with having an open marriage. And the shame I felt fueled my improprieties. And all of that behavior was part of my contribution to the end of our marriage. And it left a string of painful moments, shed tears, and broken hearts, including mine. The last very painful casualty of my bullshit, self-serving ways was the relationship with my last girlfriend. I'd been in pretty bad shape emotionally since a divorce and was not really in any condition to be in a relationship. But I ended up meeting this crazy, sexy, smart, goofy girl who fell in love with me and gave herself to me in ways no woman ever had. The thing is, I was still a broken-hearted lunk, and despite all my good qualities, I couldn't show her how much I cared or appreciate her for everything she was to me. And I ended up giving her reasons to distrust me by not being honest about who I've been sleeping with and hiding from her just how fucked up I was inside, instead of showing some vulnerability and letting her in. And on top of all that, I ignored her pleas, as I'd done with Sadie, to see a therapist and, do something about the pain I had been in. Eventually, it changed how she felt about me, and the pain of being with me was greater than the reward of the many great times we had. And it wasn't until after we'd broken up and I'd breathed a little life into the ball of poo that had been masquerading as a love device in my chest that I could really feel her and share my feelings for her. She now knows that I love her and that I want to heal the hurt that I caused her. And she also knows that she was not the one responsible for breaking my favorite and only penis. So, even though I was completely heartsick over the breakup, I had managed to at least salvage a friendship to keep this special woman in my life. And we met for a drink one afternoon at a fine East Side establishment. And she was telling me that she'd been going out, feeling liberated, having fun, dancing her ass off, and having sex, which, for me was this twisted cocktail of happiness for her and a real strong desire to throw up. So when I told her that I hadn't had sex since we broke up 3 weeks earlier, she looked at me across our margaritas and said, "You really should have sex." And that turned out to be the worst/best advice I had taken in a long time. So after my ex left, I decided to accept an invitation to attend a party with a woman I'd met recently and hopefully break that 3-week dry spell. We had hung out a couple of times before, and there was definitely sexual chemistry between us, so it seemed like there was a pretty good chance of you know, some nakedness and breaking that dry spell next time we hung out. So the party was the perfect social lubrication, and it wasn't too long before we were back at my place making a couple of completely unnecessary drinks and headed upstairs to the bedroom, y'all. Now, I'm 46, and I've been having sex for at least 5 years now. So, when this woman decided that she wanted to ride me right off the bat, I was all for that, you know, because I mean, why wouldn't I be, you know? I mean, if a sexy, horny woman wants to grind and bounce and have fun on your cock, that's usually a real good thing. This time though, about 6 to 10 bounces into the fun, she bounced up, I slid out, then she came back down and pushed back, and her pubic bone met my cock, and there was this snap. Yeah. Followed very quickly by fuck! And oh my God. So she jumped off, startled and, you know, not sure what had happened and or what the situation was. I wasn't sure either, and this is my dick we're talking about, and I'm pretty familiar with it. What I did know is that usually the head of my cock doesn't take a sharp left. I mean, my cock's always leaned to the left, much like my politics. But it's always been my whole cock, you know, not just the head of it looking like it's trying to spy on somebody around the corner. So the first course of action was to ice my package. You know, maybe it was something minor that could be fixed by a bag of ice and a couple of cigarettes before passing out. I woke in the morning with a bag of water between my legs, a naked woman next to me, and high hopes that things had returned to normal. Nope. No, what the night before had been a sharp left turn and mild swelling was now much more swelling and a lot of purpleness. Yeah, not bueno. Not good. I decided that I needed to take this girl back to her car and call a buddy for some advice, because I was still a little fuzzy in the head from last night, and when your dick is doing what my dick was doing, clear rational thought starts to leave you. So, of course, I needed to get dressed before I could go anywhere, because I was still naked. So, I put on my t-shirt that says, "Bad motherfucker," in Old English on it, you know? I felt it was appropriate. And a sweatshirt because it was like 36 degrees outside. Okay, this was just this past December. But my dick was so swollen already that I couldn't wear jeans. And my daughter had borrowed my track pants, so I was stuck with some gym shorts. Not the best way to start a Monday. So after the drop-off and my date's sincere wishes for my cock to be okay, I get my friend on the phone and politely ask him if he's got a minute, you know, because he just started a new job, and apparently manners are a very high priority for me when I'm, you know, worried about the future of my dick. And so I proceed to lay out my situation to him like this. So, say you were having sex last night, and something popped in your dick, and now it's all swollen and purple. Would you, A, go to CVS, buy some Lancets, and drain it yourself? Yeah, I know, no, seriously, I actually seriously considered that, because there's something very, very wrong with me. B, would you get on healthcare.gov and see if you could sign up for some health insurance real quick? Or C, go to a clinic and see what they have to say. Yeah. So since he's a smart guy and was not suffering from any penis trauma, he wisely suggested that I go to a clinic. When I got to the clinic, it was about 11:30, and you know, I was starting to get pretty concerned about what was happening in my gym shorts. Luckily, there was nobody in front of me, and within a few minutes, you know, I was back, and the doctor was asking me to tell her what happened, and, you know, what was going on. So I tell her, and she says, maybe I should go get the other doctor, so we can make sure we give you the right diagnosis. And, you know, I'm thinking, yeah, yes, let's do that. Let's do that real quick, and y'all tell me you can fix it, and then I'll pay at the counter and go home and lay on the couch. That is totally what I wanted. But the second doctor came in, and we all looked at this purple thing that used to resemble a penis. And the next thing you know, I've got an appointment with a urologist across town at 2:30. And things are going downhill fast. So at this point, it's only noon. I've got a couple hours to kill, and I spent those 2 hours pretty much like this. Looking at the clock, I'm looking at my dick, I'm looking at the clock, I'm looking at my dick. Oh man. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, I had to leave. Probably a little early, but you know, this is getting serious now, because what used to be the head of my dick is now a little short of being the size of a tennis ball. The shaft is swollen too, and the whole thing is starting to look like a fucking eggplant. Yeah. So I leave, and on my way to the appointment, I run into some unexpected traffic on 360 trying to get to Mopac. And as I roll up to the last set of brake lights in this ridiculously long line of cars, the coolant warning light in my car goes off. And I'm like, holy fuck. Now my car is gonna die, and then my dick is gonna explode. Unbelievable. I was starting to lose it a little bit now. So I find my way through traffic, walking into the urologist's office, told the receptionist I need to see somebody really quickly because I don't want what's happening to become an emergent situation. So, you know, pretty fast, I get taken back to this tiny examination room, and a male nurse comes in and sits down on this stool that puts his face right at cock height. Y'all let me know if you need the link on where to buy those. And so he asked me what's going on, I tell him, and he says, okay, well, why don't you go ahead and drop your shorts? And I put my thumbs in the waistband, and I pull them down about 1/2 inch, and I stop. And he looks at me and he says, is everything okay? Are you nervous? And I go, no. I have absolutely no problem showing you my dick. I just want you to know that it's not good. It's bad. So he gives me this look like, oh yeah, whatever man, I've seen it all before, So I go ahead and drop trow, and he looks at my dick and puts his blue gloved fingers on it, and then says, oh shit, man. What the fuck did you do? I'll go get the doctor. Really? Are you fucking kidding me right now? That's your response? Oh my fucking God. Are you even licensed? Who the fuck says shit like that? So now, me and my eggplant are pacing back and forth in this tiny exam room, thinking, I may never have sex again. I could lose my dick. None of that is gonna work for me. So, like 7 years later, when the doctor finally comes in, he sits in the cockeyed stool, takes a look at my dick, and calmly says, "You have fractured your penis, and it's going to require surgery." And that was like not exactly the news I was looking for. I mean, it's so far away from the break I was hoping I would have in ending that dry spell. And then he proceeds to describe the actual procedure to me, which involves an incision around the circumcision line, peeling back the skin like a banana. That's what he said. Those were his words. Like a banana. Fixing the rupture inside, putting it all back together, and stitching it up. Sounds pretty fun, right? Anybody squeezing their legs together a little bit? Are you enjoying the juicy uncomfortableness now? Because we're there. So, once I'd verified with this doctor that the urologist at Brackenridge were worthy of trusting the future of my cock to, and that it might not cost me the 30 grand he was going to charge, I called Sadie and said, you know, hey, I gotta have surgery on my dick, and I'm gonna need you to take care of our daughter for a few days. And then I called the one person in Austin I knew I could trust to not only get me to the hospital, but take care of me afterwards. Now, this woman, she's like a soulmate level type of friend, and the thing is though that she's married and she has kids, so I knew there was still a possibility that I was going to have to do all this on my own, because my request to her meant that she had to go to her husband and say something along the lines of, honey, Brad broke his dick and needs me to take him to the hospital. Are you okay with that? You know, it's not your average conversation starter. Thankfully, there's a sort of cock solidarity inherent in men that causes contorted reactions and deep empathy for any real or imagined cock trauma. And so it wasn't long before this amazingly giving woman was on her way to rescue me. Yeah. So every minute of waiting time before surgery increased my anxiety, and I spent most of the ride to the hospital trying to maintain normal breathing and some semblance of conversation. When we arrived, I walked up to the ER desk and said, "I have a fractured penis. that's in real bad shape. And that got me on the fast track to wearing a super sweet backless gown on a gurney in what has now scientifically been proven to be the absolute coldest room in any hospital in the entire fucking world. So frigid. So, my friend who rescued me and took me to the hospital was allowed to come into the room I was in with me. And lots of people were coming in and out and, you know, asking me questions and looking at my junk and, you know, poking me with needles and, you know, all this while we're waiting for the guy who's actually gonna, you know, operate on my dick to get there. And then pretty soon I realized every single one of those people who came into the room thought that the beautiful woman in the room was the one who was responsible for me being there, right? And you know, I couldn't stand for that because, you know, you know, it was probably a pretty reasonable assumption, sure, but I couldn't have my savior's marital status or sexual reputation as a non-cockbreaker questioned. So I just started telling anybody within earshot, hey, she's not the reason I'm here. She's just a good friend, totally hooking me up. And you know, so that's very much lightened the mood as we were waiting for surgery. And I actually ended up making jokes all the way into the operating room. When I woke up after surgery, my awesome caretaker had not only bought my meds and some warm clothes for me to wear, but she talked to the surgeon and told me that everything went so well, she felt like the surgeon was actually bragging about his work, because apparently it was a pretty bad scene inside my cock. And I was just about a pubic hair away from shredding my urethra. But I managed somehow to dodge that bullet. So, yes, thank you, yes. I never was pee challenged, which was a good thing. So, and really all I could think in that moment, that hazy moment of coming out of anesthesia, was, sweet baby Jesus, I get to fuck again. Someday. So, a post-anesthesia prerequisite pee and a wheelchair ride later, it was time to head back to my friend and temporary nurse's house, have a beer or two, and start taking as much hydrocodone as felt so buzzily appropriate. And that is where the understanding of the gifts started kicking in. First, I can never fully express the gratitude and love I have for my married friend. The care and love and support she gave me from the time she picked me up until I left her house 2 days later was so far beyond what I had any reason to expect or had really ever been able to receive before. And I will forever be in her debt and at her service. Secondly, the retrospective clarity of all the pain I caused myself and the women in my life leading up to the moment my cock snapped has completely completely changed my relationship with Sadie. It's allowed me to share myself with my ex-girlfriend in ways I never could before, even if we're never more than friends again. And it's forever altered how I relate to women in general. Thank you. Lastly, and quite possibly most importantly, that whole ego-driven way of being that was the source of so many tears for so many years is gone. Maybe it was bled out in surgery, I don't know, but there's no reason for pretense or dishonesty anymore. So I am free to be open without fear, and that is going to make all the difference in what kind of man I can be to whomever I'm in a relationship with next. Throughout this whole ordeal, except for the initial injury and several ridiculously excruciating multiple morning wood sessions, yeah, that's not a good way to wake up. It's not. I really didn't experience much pain at all, and I'm happy to report that everything is back in working order. But after seeing stitches in your dick and feeling like the bottom half is going to fall off, and a bunch of contemplative couch time, the thought of having sex again was a little unsettling. You know, it takes at least 4 weeks to heal up enough for penetration, and at that point, I felt like I was choosing somebody to take my virginity again, because I really needed whoever that was to be super gentle, you know, until I got my bearings and my cock confidence back. And I'm happy to report that when I did have sex again, I was very well taken care of, much like I was by my married friend, although it's important to note again that she was not the one responsible. So I stand here before you with my surgically repaired penis, and I can tell you that while I would not wish the breaking of one's cock upon anyone, for me, it's been an amazing and truly enlightening gift. I'm so grateful for all the humor and care and love that I've experienced from so many, and the time to consider everything that led up to that fateful day, along with a new understanding of what I want for myself and in my relationships, has created a profound change that goes far beyond the scar on my cock. Thank you.